Ever since LEGO introduced movie cars into the Speed Champions theme in 2022, fans have been asking for a DeLorean of this scale. The DeLorean is nearly 2025 and we haven't seen any signs of it. However, there is a rebrickable model from Tom's 8 Wides that I've built. And let me just tell you that this is heavy.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? Oh, this is heavy, Doc.
Before I unveil it, let me go back to last Saturday. In this video, I'm building a Back to the Future DeLorean. Not that one, though I haven't built that one yet either. I'm building a Speed Champions scaled version using instructions on rebrickable, a design by Tom's 8 Wides, and everything on this table here is relevant to that build. Even this pirate. There are a few rare colors of pieces that are required for this build, such as the 4 fender pieces in light gray that were seen in Bond's DB5. However, I was fortunate to have almost every piece already in hand to build this. It's almost like a future me stocked my room so I would have all of the pieces today. I wonder... Looks like you're gonna need a couple of these in dark gray. Nah, that's not possible. That being said, I will probably need to make some color and part substitutions along the way. There have been a couple LEGO iterations of the DeLorean previously, like one of the very first LEGO Idea sets, 004. The theme was called Kuso back then. I appreciate its existence, but this needs improvement. There was also this small one as part of a Dimensions level pack. There were a few different cars that I could have robbed for these gray upward-facing brackets, but I chose the AMG Project 1 car because I also need that windscreen piece. Fortunately, I don't have to break down my original car because I have multiple of these sets just because of their good value. I'm needing some trans blue elements, and that's where the Lunar New Year Ice Festival is going to come into play. Don't worry, this ice sculptor is amazing at what she does. She really didn't mind that I took it down. She could easily do it again. When I was searching for these slopes on brick set, guess which set came up first in my search? Yeah, funny, right? The flux capacitor may be a bit complicated. However, the instructions have been pretty easy to follow. The build has been pretty enjoyable, and I love how this comes together. The instructions show using a 1x2 dark green grill element. I've got olive green. Hopefully that's not a big deal. I'm also needing some 2x2 corner tiles that are rounded and have a drum lacquered finish. Well, this is the set I need to open. There's what I need. Might as well get this set built while I'm at it. The wheel cover from this classic Corvette will be used for the reactor, where the plutonium core goes inside. You probably thought I was showing this Boba Fett mech off because of the good price I got, or maybe because of its pristine box condition. No, however, I need the fingers in this mech to move on to the next step. There we go. What about that box? It's still pristine. I need 2 of these pieces. I only have 1. Yeah, I'm gonna need that shifter. You can keep the NOS. I'm gonna need these gray candlesticks from the Vet and the hook from the Pirate. And with that final touch, it's ready. And now I'm back from the future. I don't know, I just wanted to make things dramatic. I built the Icons DeLorean and gave my thoughts on it on my other channel. To summarize in 2 words, great Scott. All right, now I'm going to reveal the rebrickable model. Our pirate friend is here to help provide a hand to... The pirate is here to help give me... You've got to hand it to the pirate. Now with the helpful hand from the pirate. Now let's put our hands together for... When you see this car, you're going to be hooked. This car cover is actually a hand-me-down. Yeah. Really got to hand it to Tom for building... Oh, there's the hand again. If you're enjoying this video, give me a hand by hitting that like button. I picked up Einstein from the LEGO store build figure station. Anyway, later in this video, I'm going to do some side-by-side comparison shots of this car with the Icon set, and it's amazing how much detail's been packed into this small car. I'm also going to take these mods even further with some of my own suggestions and make part 2 and part 3 versions. Yeah, this baby's going to be able to fly. Because where we're going, you know the rest. First though, let's give the part 1, the original car, a spin. Well, it's spinning right now, so let's talk about it. Okay, this lightning rod, so to speak, is genius. I really like this look, and the use of the pirate's hook is just brilliant. And it conveniently rests right here, oops, which is actually perfect position for it. Actually, I think it's even more accurate than the Icons car. And this whole thing is easily removable if you want to. Oh, it's hard doing this with one hand. Here we go. With that rod removed, I can zoom in a little bit closer, give you a better shot. Now, before going into more specific details, I just want to say that it was a complete hassle to gather all of the needed pieces, and I've got a big Lego collection. I can't imagine a small builder being able to source all these parts, especially the rare ones. But if you take the time to do so, maybe make some substitutions, the end result is incredible. And the build integrity is really good. Actually, the build is more sturdy than a lot of official LEGO Speed Champions cars, even though it's just as complex with multi-directional building and all. Having this great design just makes me want to do more with it. It's really inspiring. And with all of that being said, let's get back to those details. The Mercedes-AMG Project 1 windscreen print is so good for this car. The way the 2 whip elements are used for the cables is brilliant. Engine details for a Speed Champions car is rare and very minimal at best, so to get this is incredible. The nuclear reactor and the exhaust ports are just remarkable. Now, you don't have to use that wheel cover from the Vet if you don't have it. This piece is actually more common, so that's one part substitution you can do. The interior is equally as detailed with the seats, the flux capacitor, and all of the printed tiles that are used to indicate circuit boards, the time readouts and gauges. My biggest issues is that this detail right here, this T-bar, gets in the way of seating figures. So I'm going to change that out. Also going to see if I can center that steering wheel. Currently modding the interior, and particularly in between the 2 seats, obviously to allow the figures to sit, but also modding it to something that makes sense, something that's equivalent to the Icons car and equivalent to accuracy of the movie. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of clips from the movie. Let's see if these minifigures can fit with the windscreen piece on. Might need to adjust their hands a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Now there's one little flaw, is that when you push down on this windscreen, it doesn't rest on anything. It can be pushed down way further than it needs to be. Although it's not a big deal, but I think I'm gonna make some adjustments and add a modified 1x2 plate. So here's what the interior looks like now. I think it looks pretty good and is functional. Got the steering wheel centered. I took out a 1x4 plate, replaced it with this jumper plate, just so it's smooth looking and easier to remove and attach this windscreen piece. What I'm going to do next are some mods up front. I'm going to swap out some of the medium stone gray pieces and these trans orange pieces with drum lacquered tiling. I think that'll look good. Man, I would have really loved this printed DMC slope on this car. Not sure it's going to work because of the 1x2 size versus having 3 studs here. Might be able to get away with a jumper plate. We'll see about that. Also, nowadays they make a 4x4 tile, so maybe I can use that instead of 2 2x4s. Well, my only 4x4 gray tile is in the Orient Express, and it has a sticker that I'm not sure I want to remove. And wait, where's that sticker? So now it's time to apply the sticker to this 4x4 tile. Something tells me I shouldn't. Wow, that was convenient. Also, that DMC printed slope looks good. Better than I expected. Love it. While I'm thinking about it, rather than using this blank 1x2 tile, let's get a plate added. Now, I don't have anything that says out of time. This sticker is on a window pane. It's not going to be the same size. So what I'm going to do is just use a Californian plate off of Dom's Charger. Okay, not 100% accurate, but I think this California plate adds to the realism. Maybe this is like Jay Leno's car or something. Okay, I didn't add the drum lacquered parts up front yet. I'm going to work on that next. Also change up some of the coloring around these lights and license plate to something like this, like a dark gray and some blacks. I'm not sure why this 1x2 trans orange tile is there. I'm telling you, the way that this car is built, it's amazing. Look at that. All right, I think that looks a little bit more accurate maybe. I'm telling you, I've been very fortunate on finding the pieces I need. I needed a couple of these slope elements in the drum lacquered finish. Well, I had exactly 2. This extra 1x1 came from this set. This 1x3 came from the DB5 that had extra plates. So with these pieces and a few others, I can modify this front end. There's just a couple more mods I want to do before switching this car to flight mode. I'm going to replace these red tiles with dark red because that's how it's shown on the Icons car and how it is in the movie. Also, I'm not going back on my statement about how sturdy this build is because it is sturdy. However, I found that these assemblies, because they're built at the angle that they are, they fall off sometimes, like when I'm pushing down on some pieces like that. So what I'm going to do to better secure this is add a stud, like a jumper plate, because there's a half plate thickness to account for. So I think when I push down on this assembly, this won't happen. Not really sure you knew what I was talking about. I knew what I was talking about. This is the mod. That's the original. So let's do the same thing over here and see how it works out. Now let's check out the structural integrity. Push down. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. I'm super happy with how these extra mods are turning out. Now let's do some side-by-side comparisons with the Icons car. This is the part 1, the movie 1 car, and really looking at it from this view, I know we're missing the DMC logo here, but I think there's just as much detail in this car that's a fraction of the size of this car. That's amazing. Wow, such amazing detail on such a small car. Now, if only we can add some gull-wing doors. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Finally, a minifigure scaled DeLorean. You could potentially angle these mirrors outward because they do stick out on the real car. I don't know, if you want to. Now let's get this converted to the Part 2 car. Here's my Speed Champion scaled Mr. Fusion. It turns out I didn't need to rob these light gray candlestick pieces from the Icons Vet after all, because the silver metallic works better. Well, here it is, the Part 2 version. I think the Mr. Fusion add-on works really well here. The wheel conversion, well, it sits up a little bit high, or rather low. Those wheels should have been up into the wheel wells a bit more, but I did what I could without doing some heavy modification, whoops, to the underside. I would have had to removed the dark gray. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it roll off. Oh, come on now. Yes. Okay, it's the simple things that make your day. Well, there's my first attempt at a part 2 version. I think it looks pretty good for my first try. Now let's go ahead and swap this over to part 3. Here we go, part 3 movie car. Still have Mr. Fusion in the back powering this car, but we've got this electrical circuit board on the front of the hood. This is from the Wild West. If you look really closely, you'll see Marty McFly wearing Western attire inside the car. These wheels, so I changed it out to something different and put on these. They're the wheel and tire combination where they're all one piece, and that allows enough space to fit this inverted dish piece in there. For part 2 and part 3 cars, you should have this license plate, but again, it's a pain swapping them out of this one. As for the Speed Champions styled car, maybe just use a blank 1x2 orange tile. Be sure to check out the link in the description of this video for the rebrickable model. If this was an official Speed Champions set, this car would be my favorite out of all of them. All 40? What do we have, 40? Anyway, your future is whatever you make it, so build it well. You see what I did there? I altered Doc Brown's quote to apply to Lego. I don't know, I thought it was good. Well, we're out of time here, so I'll talk to you again in the future. Or in the past if you're watching old videos. At last, LEGO has revealed a Back to the Future DeLorean car in Speed Champions form. Finally! It's in the 10 stud wide scale, aka Generation 3. Honestly though, I still prefer Tom's 8 wide's rebrickable mock that I built back in 2024. It really stood the test of time. Wow. Has it been that long ago?